there's some dark and green fields, and then among the trees there's a church, there's a building. Can you see? You follow what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? That is Mount of Beatitudes. That's not the church, but next to the church is the monastery of the White Sister, the Catholic monk order. You can see Mount of Beatitudes, and just down below it will be the fishing area, the street, and then straight behind us will be Capernaum, and now we can't see it. Or I can't see it, but if you're looking back out on this side, we've had to turn a bus around. You can see where the Jordan River is coming into the lake. And the Jordan River is actually divided into two parts. From the snow in the north, and I hope that when we are up in the Golden Heights, we will be able to see Mount Hermon and see snow. Right? And when the snow melts, you have the full of ice cold water coming into the lake. And then you have the Sea of Galilee, and then in the south, we will be there tomorrow, you have the continuation of the Jordan River going all the way down to the Dead Sea. So the Jordan River is divided into two parts, right? The northern part filling up the Sea of Galilee, and the southern part taking water out of the lake all the way down to the Dead Sea. And we're going to spend some time over there, and the possibility of being baptized and things like that. We will talk more about it. We're going to be at the Jordan River tomorrow. Now, this side that you're looking at, this is the other side. Right? It's the other side also in modern times, because that would have been the Golden Heights. Today, the Golden Heights is part of Israel, and the border is another 10 miles further up. This would have been the Decapolis area. Right? So when you have this story of a man possessed with evil demons and being forced into a herd of pigs, must have been on that side, because Jewish people don't like pigs. We don't even have them for pets. You know, there were no pigs in the Galilee. There were pigs on the other side. Right? So that story about from Mark 5 is over there. And you know, and that story actually starts in Mark 4. Jesus is in Capernaum.
That's what the big one.
And he says to his disciples, let's take the boat over to the other side. Right? And Jesus, I hope this is not the story my pastor wanted to read. That's what you wanted to read? Okay, I'm going to stop and you will read that, and you will read that, right? And we can read from Mark 4 and Mark 5 later on. You have the story about the man possessed with evil demons. So, but most of our stories from the New Testament is going to be on our side, next to the wormwood. So,
Pastor Angie, Antinor.
Let's have a reading.
I didn't sign up for this, but I love Pastor Heyman, so I said yes. There's many significant events that happened in and around the Sea of Galilee, as you know. Ronnie was telling us. John 21, Peter's encounter with Jesus. Luke chapter 5, the big cats. But one of my favorite is Matthew chapter 14, 22 to 33. I think it's also recorded in the book of Mark and in the book of John, where Peter walked on the water. So I need an illustration for that, but let me start with the story first. Peter is probably the most interesting disciple of Jesus among the 12. He's the most talkative. He talks first, and he's the last one to get quiet. Jesus calls him Simon, that means he's weak. If Jesus calls him Peter, that means he's okay. If Jesus calls him Simon Peter, that means I don't understand you. So he is featured in this story, the walking in the water. The narrative is very simple, and I know you probably have preached on this. The disciples were trying to go on the other side on their own in a boat, and Jesus was left in the mountain praying. And the Bible said that there was a storm that struck in the sea. Now, Pastor Ronnie could explain that better than anyone because he knows the geography of the region. But I don't understand how a storm could strike in a lake. This is not an open ocean. So the Bible said that the storm must have been so strong that the boat almost capsized, and the disciples were afraid. And Jesus followed them walking in the water. Now, most of the disciples thought it was a ghost, and so they were scared. But Peter saw him. He thinks it was Jesus. So he said, Lord, if that's you, bid me to come in the water. And Jesus said, come. And Peter jumped out of the boat, and he probably walked a few feet away from the boat, and he started sinking. Now, we might criticize Peter for sinking, but he's the only apostle that could brag that he walked on the water. Yes. Now, what's the connection with that, with the pastors that we are here this afternoon or this morning? Pastors are natural visionaries. you and I can see things that people cannot see. People might see things as foggy. People might see things as misty or not clear. But you and I could always see Jesus in the midst of even the most difficult circumstances. And I'm not working for Q5, but I believe that when Pastor John Hagee started Q5, he knows that he is going to jump out of his comfort zone. And if I believe that Jesus is at the end of my vision, I need to take